On May 24, 2019, Jennifer Dulos, a devoted mother, vanished without a trace, leaving her 5 children and family in despair. This alarming incident prompted a thorough investigation by law enforcement, which revealed an even more startling reality. Jennifer Dulos's disappearance was linked to someone who had once been the focal point of her life. Born on September 27, 1968 in New York City to Hillard Farber, a banker, and Glor Otenberg, a philanthropist, Jennifer had one sibling, her sister, Melissa Irene Farber. She attended Brown University, graduating in 1990, and later earned a master's degree in writing from New York University's Tisch School of the Arts. Jennifer's uncle, Arthur Otenberg, and his wife established the fashion company Liz Claiborne Inc. In 2004, Jennifer married her beloved Fotis Dulos, and together they had 5 children, 2 sets of twins and a daughter, all named after Greek saints, Theodore Dulos, Constantine Dulos, Petro Dulos, Christian Dulos, and Cleopatra Noel Dulos. Jennifer and Fotis were married for 13 years until their relationship deteriorated in 2017, leading Jennifer to fear the man she had once adored. This raises the question, who was Fotis Dulos and what had transformed him? Fotis Dulos was born on August 6, 1967, in Turkey and grew up in Athens, Greece. He relocated to the United States in 1986, attended Brown University, and graduated in 1989. A few years later, he obtained a master's degree in finance from Columbia University. Fotis Dulos met his first wife, Hilary Vanessa Alama, while they were both students at Brown University. The couple married in Athens in 2000. However, their marriage deteriorated by 2004. Following their separation, Fotis relocated to Connecticut. In September 2004, he married Jennifer, just a month after his divorce, having been involved with her during his previous marriage. After their wedding, they settled in Farmington, where they welcomed 5 children. Jennifer Dulos was deeply devoted to her children, which raised suspicions when she went missing, as it was believed she would never willingly abandon them. Prior to her disappearance, Jennifer had initiated divorce proceedings and was seeking sole custody of her children, expressing fears for her safety and that of her kids due to the deteriorating nature of her marriage. The relationship between the Dulos couple reached a critical point in 2017 when Jennifer first alluded to her marital difficulties in a blog post dated March 12, 2012, where she expressed a desire to be stronger and less intimidated by confrontations. In 2017, she filed for divorce, citing Fotis's increasingly independent lifestyle and infidelity with his colleague, Michelle Tronis, a Venezuelan native. Although Jennifer sought emergency custody of her 5 children that year, the court denied her request, but awarded shared custody to both parents. Jennifer expressed significant concerns for her safety and the well-being of her children, alleging that Fotis exhibited irrational, unsafe, and controlling behavior. On June 3, 2017, Jennifer recounted a distressing incident involving her husband, Fotis. Upon discovering that she had organized activities for their children on a Saturday morning, Fotis reacted negatively, leading to a loss of control. Jennifer described his behavior as enraged and agitated, which instilled fear in her. In an attempt to escape, she hurried upstairs, but Fotis pursued her. And despite her efforts to secure the door, he continued to verbally assault and intimidate her physically. Jennifer Dulos recognized that her safety was compromised in her marriage. She acknowledged that her decision to file for divorce had provoked Fotis, who she feared would retaliate against her. In an interview, she revealed her terror regarding Fotis, particularly after he threatened to kidnap their children if she did not comply with his demands during the divorce proceedings. In 2017, he had even acquired a firearm. In 2018, Jennifer sought emergency sole custody of her children. During the court hearings, it was revealed that Fotis had violated multiple court orders. Consequently, Jennifer was awarded full physical custody, while both parents retained legal custody. Fotis was granted only supervised visitation and monitored phone calls. Following these developments, Jennifer and her children relocated to a rented residence in New Canaan, situated 70 miles away from Fotis. In response to Jennifer's allegations, Fotis expressed his hurt feelings in an email sent to her in 2017. His concern for the well-being of his children led him to express that they required the presence of both parents rather than just one. He implored Jennifer to reconsider their marriage for the benefit of their children, suggesting that they could function as partners and learn to coexist amicably. However, while refuting the allegations made against him by Jennifer, Fotis claimed that she was the one instigating animosity between him and their children. He accused her of labeling him a psychopath and informing the children that he was indifferent to their needs. Furthermore, he asserted that Jennifer had boasted about prolonging the divorce process over 2 years with the intention of having the mafia harm him. Fotis also denied any threats to abduct his children, acknowledging that he had purchased a firearm solely for home protection. His arguments might have been taken into consideration had it not been for the subsequent events. Jennifer Dulos was last seen on May 24, 2019, at approximately 8:05 a.m. On that day, she had dropped her children off at New Canaan County School and returned home shortly thereafter. Concerned friends alerted the police to her disappearance. Jennifer had 2 medical appointments scheduled for 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. in New York City, and her failure to attend raised alarms among her family, as she had never missed an appointment. Additionally, her live-in nanny, Lauren Almeida, also expressed concern regarding Jennifer's unusual absence. Upon her arrival at Jennifer's new apartment in New Canaan at 11:30 a.m., Lauren noticed Jennifer's Range Rover parked in the garage. This prompted her to remember that Jennifer had intended to use the Range Rover for her doctor's appointment rather than her Chevrolet Suburban, which was conspicuously absent. Lauren did not report Jennifer's disappearance to the authorities until 7:00 p.m. By that time, it was evident that something was amiss, as Jennifer was known for never returning home so late or leaving without notifying anyone. Following alarming reports, the police initiated their investigations. Some detectives conducted a search of Jennifer's New Canaan residence, but the findings would shatter the hearts of those who cared for her. Blood splatters were discovered on the garage floor, along with traces on one of the walls and the door. Additionally, blood traces were found on the exterior of the Range Rover. Inside the house, blood splatters were limited to the kitchen, revealing a mixture of both Jennifer's and her husband, Fotis Dulos's blood. This revelation raised suspicions regarding Fotis Dulos's involvement in his wife's murder. Further police investigations indicated that Fotis had been present at Jennifer's apartment on the day of her disappearance. According to the authorities, he had arrived on a bicycle, as the tracks around the residence were too small to have been made by a vehicle. It appeared that Fotis had been lying in wait for her. The wife was shot by her husband after she returned from dropping their children off at school. Following the act, he meticulously cleaned the scene and disposed of the evidence around 10:25 a.m. Surveillance footage from Jennifer's neighbors captured a Chevrolet Suburban leaving her residence, leading the police to suspect Fotis Dulos as the driver. Authorities alleged that he concealed Jennifer Dulos's body and other items related to the murder cleanup within the vehicle. After hiding her body, Fotis abandoned the car approximately 3 miles from New Canaan. The police were convinced of Fotis's guilt, viewing him as a cold-blooded murderer due to his suspicious behavior later that evening. At around 7:30 p.m., Fotis Dulos and his girlfriend, Michelle Troconis, were recorded disposing of trash in various bins. While this might have appeared ordinary, they utilized 30 different trash bins scattered across Alford Avenue in Hartford. Upon investigation, the police uncovered several incriminating items within the garbage bags, including cleaning supplies, blood-stained clothing, and used gloves. Forensic tests confirmed the police's suspicions, revealing that the blood matched Jennifer Dulos's, while Fotis's DNA was found on one of the gloves and in one of the trash bins. The revelation of Fotis Dulos's cold-blooded murder of his wife was shocking, but even more surprising was the involvement of his girlfriend, Troconis, as an accomplice. Michelle Troconis, originally from Venezuela, was a mother, a horse rider, and a former ESPN reporter in South America, but her participation in this heinous crime was utterly unexpected. Fotis Dulos began seeing Michelle Troconis while still married to Jennifer Dulos. The affair with Troconis played a significant role in the deterioration of his marriage. Following Jennifer's disappearance, law enforcement brought Troconis in for questioning. When asked about Jennifer's whereabouts on the day she went missing, Troconis stated that she had lunch with Fotis Dulos that afternoon and claimed they had gone to one of his properties to prepare for a client meeting. The police suspected that they were, in fact, disposing of evidence related to Jennifer Dulos's body. The investigation led authorities to discover additional videotapes featuring Michelle Troconis in compromising situations, which provided insights into how Fotis Dulos may have orchestrated the crime. It appeared that he had meticulously planned his actions, and investigators believed he did not act alone. On May 24, 2019, Fotis drove a Tacoma truck owned by an employee without permission to New Canaan, Connecticut. A school bus captured video footage of the Tacoma speeding on the highway at 7:05 a.m., heading towards Wavani Park, where Jennifer's Chevrolet Suburban would later be located. Police confirmed that a bicycle tire was found in the truck's trunk, supporting their theory that Fotis had cycled the 3 miles from Wavani Park to Jennifer's apartment in New Canaan. Authorities believed he arrived before Jennifer, attacked her in the garage upon her return, and subsequently cleaned up the scene and concealed her body. The Chevrolet Suburban was driven directly to Wavani Park, where Fotis meticulously transferred Jennifer's body into the Tacoma truck. Despite his efforts to conceal his actions, he left behind 2 significant pieces of evidence at the New Canaan residence: a sample of his DNA on the doorknob and a mixture of his and Jennifer's blood on the kitchen faucet. The police contended that Fotis had spent considerable time cleaning the house, as indicated by surveillance footage from neighbors that captured Jennifer's Chevrolet Suburban departing the premises shortly after 11 p.m. The authorities grew increasingly convinced of Fotis Dulos's guilt when, 5 days following his wife's disappearance, he took the Tacoma truck out again without authorization. His destination further implicated him. He drove directly to a local car wash and detailing shop. Surveillance footage revealed a black SUV trailing closely behind him, driven by none other than Michelle Troconis. In the video, Fotis is observed dropping off the truck at the car wash before entering Troconis' SUV. The police believed that their intent was to eliminate any remaining evidence. However, their efforts were in vain, as samples of Jennifer's DNA were discovered on the passenger seat of the vehicle. With the overwhelming evidence against him, Fotis Dulos emerged as the primary suspect in Jennifer Dulos's disappearance. On June 7, 2020, he was arrested and charged with capital murder, and kidnapping. Fotis Dulos was not apprehended for the murder and kidnapping of Jennifer Dulos until June 2020. One might assume that he should have been arrested sooner. Indeed, he was, but he had not faced murder charges at that time. On June 1, 2019, Fotis Dulos and Michelle Troconis were taken into custody at a hotel in Ion, Connecticut, where they were charged with hindering prosecution and tampering with evidence. At the moment of their arrest, law enforcement lacked sufficient evidence against the pair, and both pleaded not guilty to the allegations. Fotis Dulos retained Norm Pattis as his legal counsel. It was strongly believed by authorities that Jennifer Dulos was deceased. Although Fotis and Troconis were released, they were arrested again in September 2019 for further charges of tampering with evidence and hindering justice. In October 2019, Fotis appeared in court to request the dismissal of the charges against him. The presiding judge indicated that he would review the case and consider arguments from both the prosecution and the defense. During this time, Jennifer and Fotis Dulos's children, aged between 8 and 13, were living with their maternal grandmother, who had been granted temporary custody by the court. In January 2020, Fotis Dulos was arrested and charged with the capital murder of his ex-wife, while his girlfriend Michelle Troconis was charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Following his arrest, Troconis distanced herself from Fotis, admitting in an interview that she regretted trusting him. Prior to their 2020 arrests, Troconis had reportedly vacated the $5 million home owned by Fotis in Farmington. Kent Douglas Mowen, the former attorney and associate of Fotis Dulos, was apprehended and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Mowen was taken into custody at gunpoint, as authorities suspected he had assisted Dulos and Troconis in fabricating an alibi for the morning of Jennifer's disappearance. During this time, Mowen faced allegations of spousal rape from his wife, leading to their separation. Following his arrest in connection with Jennifer Dulos' murder, his wife expressed concerns for her safety, informing the South Windsor Police Department that Mawen was allegedly plotting to kill her with the assistance of Fotis Dulos. As the investigation progressed, police learned that Mawen was affiliated with the East Granby Gun Club, a local hunting group. Members of this club reported having seen what appeared to be a human grave on property linked to the club. Consequently, law enforcement conducted a search of the area and uncovered a shallow grave on the isolated site. Within the grave, investigators discovered 2 bags of lime and a blue tarp. However, no body was located, leading police to speculate that it may have been removed. The grave was identified with the aid of a canine unit in August 2019. Tragically, despite the arrests, Jennifer's remains were never recovered, leaving her family heartbroken. A spokesperson for the family revealed in an interview that the suspects' arrests did not provide them with any sense of closure, acknowledging that the imprisonment of Jennifer's murderer could not restore their lost daughter. The pain endured by the family remained profound. On January 8, 2020, Fotis Dulos' bond was established at $6 million, and he was released the following day on bail, with a requirement to return to court on February 8, 2020. Michelle Troconis was also granted bail, while Douglas Mawen's bond was initially set at $2 million, but later reduced to just over $200,000, leading to his release on October 19, 2020. The weight of his past actions ultimately overwhelmed Fotis, culminating in a tragic incident on January 28, 2020, when he failed to appear for an emergency court hearing. Upon arriving at his residence in Farmington, police discovered Fotis unconscious in his vehicle. It appeared he could not confront the repercussions of his deeds, leading him to attempt suicide by carbon monoxide poisoning. He had ingeniously connected a vacuum cleaner to the exhaust of his SUV, directing the fumes into the car's interior. Emergency responders performed CPR, managing to revive a faint pulse before transporting him to Yukon Medical Center. Subsequently, he was transferred to Jacobi Medical Center in the Bronx for hyperbaric oxygen therapy. During his hospitalization, Fotis' children, who were residing with their grandmother, visited him, marking their first encounter since the allegations of Jennifer's murder. A suicide note was later discovered in Fotis' vehicle, in which he expressed his unwillingness to endure even an hour in jail for something he claimed to know nothing about. Tragically, on January 30, 2020, Fotis was pronounced dead at Jacobi Medical Center. Following his death, a police report was released detailing the circumstances surrounding the case. Fotis Dulos' former girlfriend, Anna Curry, asserted that she was with him on the day of his emergency court hearing. She informed the police that they had intended to drive to the courthouse together. However, Fotis expressed a preference for them to go separately. Curry revealed that she felt a sense of dread when Fotis' attorney contacted her to inquire about his absence from court. At that moment, she was driving and responded that Fotis should have been present. The attorney then informed her that Fotis' GPS tracker indicated he was still at his residence in Farmington. This revelation led Curry to suspect that Fotis had harmed himself, prompting her to request that the attorney call 911. Following Fotis' death, the murder charges against him were dismissed on March 3, 2020, when a judge issued a nolle prosequi order to the prosecutors. Although Fotis Dulos was not acquitted of the charges, the case could not proceed due to his death. A nolle prosequi acknowledges this situation, but allows the prosecution a year to refile the case before it is permanently dismissed. During the hearing, Fotis Dulos' attorney expressed a desire to clear his client's name, with Norm Pattis contending that Fotis had been wrongfully accused. He argued that the true perpetrator had discarded bloodied clothing and other incriminating evidence found on Fotis' front porch, suggesting that Fotis had merely attempted to dispose of these items innocently. Pattis sought to substitute Fotis Dulos' estate as the defendant. However, this request has not been addressed since Michelle Troconis was placed under house arrest. Michelle Troconis was arrested following accusations of conspiring to murder Jennifer Dulos. However, significant progress on her case had been hindered by the COVID-19 pandemic, which caused delays. Troconis's attorney, John Shonhan, stated in an interview that there had been minimal advancement in the case. Despite this, Troconis was scheduled to appear in court on August 6, 2020, while Fotis Dulos was set to appear on June 2, 2020. Both defendants maintained their pleas of not guilty to the charges against them. In a separate interview, Michelle Troconis addressed those who had formed judgments about her without personal knowledge, acknowledging the potential for misjudgment. While she refrained from speculating on Fotis Dulos' capability of committing murder, she expressed her belief that trusting him had been a mistake. 4 years after Jennifer Dulos' disappearance, her whereabouts remained unknown. Over the years, law enforcement conducted extensive searches for her remains, including a 2019 operation at Waveney Park, located 3 miles from New Canaan, utilizing canines and helicopters. When these efforts yielded no results, the search expanded to a property owned by the Dulos family in New York City, followed by investigations in central Connecticut. The police continued their relentless pursuit to locate Jennifer, which included reviewing surveillance footage that captured Fotis Dulos disposing of garbage bags in various trash receptacles. The investigation led the police to the city's garbage processing facility, where an extensive search lasting several weeks yielded significant evidence. The inquiry then extended to a specific fishing pond in Avon frequented by the Dulos family. Subsequently, the police moved to central Connecticut, examining properties associated with the husband of the missing woman, with the search area estimated at approximately 3,000 acres. However, Jennifer Dulos was not located. In August 2021, the investigation directed them to a residence on Mountain Spring Road in Farmington, linked to Jennifer Dulos' husband. The police opted to search this location to pursue previous leads. They enlisted the expertise of Bob Perry, a well-known specialist in locating unmarked graves, and utilized a septic tank and an excavator to enhance their search efforts. To date, the police have not disclosed any information regarding the discovery of Jennifer Dulos' remains. Despite the tragic nature of her case, a positive outcome emerged. In May 2021, the Connecticut State Senate enacted a domestic violence bill named in honor of Jennifer Dulos and another domestic violence victim, Jennifer Magnano. This legislation received near unanimous support from the Senate members and was signed into law by Governor Ned Lamont on June 28, 2021. The other Jennifer Magnano, was also a victim of a severely abusive marriage. In 2007, she was brutally murdered by her husband, Scott Magnano, in Terryville, Connecticut. Following this horrific act, Scott Magnano took his own life in front of their 3 children. The family of Jennifer Dulos continues to struggle with the loss of their daughter. In a recent interview, the family spokesperson conveyed the profound sense of loss they feel, emphasizing that Jennifer's vibrant personality and cheerful spirit left a lasting impact on those who knew her, making her disappearance felt by many